So we finally got to see it, and my long-awaited dread about this episode is... Well, let's find out, shall we? Doctor Who, Season 1, The Devil's Chord. In this episode, the Doctor and Ruby meet the Beatles and discover the all-powerful Maestro is changing history. London becomes a battleground with the future of humanity at stake. Humanity at stake. Nothing that's never happened before in Who. Well, guess what? Who knew Who could redo Who? Yeah, I thought that was funny at 5 o'clock in the morning when I was writing this. I guess not. We start off the episode with an introduction to the Devil's Chord and what that is. I love when we get some backstory or further information to help you understand the episode a little bit better. Some of the stuff in Doctor Who can be a little bit hard to follow sometimes, so a little bit more context is great for non-music enthusiasts in this situation. We're then introduced to Maestro, and I've got to say, I had no idea the introduction to this character was going to be so damn early in the episode, but I love it. Maestro is literally called upon by the episode's title, The Devil's Chord. Once this is played, she comes crawling out of the piano with her theatre turned up to 100. My initial skepticism about this episode was the acting was going to be a little bit out of whack, just with Jinx being a drag star. The acting is normally over the top for this type of performance, but we will get back to this in a minute. Stakes are set really high from the beginning of the episode as Maestro very nicely sets the tone for what's to come from them and how much danger the Doctor and Ruby could potentially be in. The episode's pacing is quite fast, and I felt like every time I was about to catch my breath, I lost it again with another twist or turn. Saying that, there is a part in the episode where the Doctor takes Ruby back to the future to show her the damage that Maestro has caused. Within this scene, the Maestro appears within the future and shutters the Doctor into a very intimate and dark scene with 2 big stage lights. This part slowed the episode down a lot, but it was a severely needed scene as we find out so much about who the Maestro is and what she can do. The messed up original music in this episode from the Beatles to Cilla Black and the Doctor and Ruby's reactions to how this is all messed up is absolutely genius and hilarious. RTD really does know how to do Doctor Who, and this is really fun and great to see it be put back on the screens with a higher budget and better well-rounded stories. This episode really addresses the love for music and why music is important not only to the world but for the survival of the human race. Addressing music being so important is a vital part of this episode, and to be honest, I'm here for it all. Music is literally happiness and bliss. We finally get to a scene where the Doctor and Ruby run into the Tardis in an attempt to get away from the Maestro after she starts messing with the Tardis. This is amazing to see because of the new TARDIS design. She literally had an impact on it. What it was doing, how it was looking, how the lights were flickering. However, the Doctor starts to break the TARDIS and starts ripping things out of the console, and we're only 2 episodes into this season. Damn, stakes were definitely high. I've spoken on Ruby's character in Space Babies, but in this episode we get to learn just a little bit more. Ruby is fun and loves to have a laugh and a joke. We see Ruby Sunday play the piano and sing a little bit in this episode. We already knew she could do that from the church on Ruby Road, but there was not much further really in the way the character was developed in this episode, other than some comments being mentioned by the Maestro that are a little bit worrying for the Doctor, I think. We'll discuss this when we get to the mystery boxes. The Doctor has his being scared of things arc. I'm calling it an arc now because this is the second time that this appeared. But anyway, the Doctor has this arc continued in this episode as he runs and hides with Ruby from the Maestro. I really think there's going to be a reason for this, and we'll find out more later on. Ruby even comments on this. You're never scared and you never hide. I mean, this girl's only known the Doctor for all of 2 adventures, so she knows him inside out, right? Back to my initial worry about this episode being terrible. I was so wrong. Jinx Monsoon is perfect for the Maestro, and I really hope that she comes back for another adventure. Her acting was on point, over the top when it needed to be, and just right when it needed to be. So there was no continuous overacting, and everything blended in and gelled really well. The use of Jinx's deep register and her voice throughout this episode is just so damn chilling. Again, you can fully see the Disney dollars in this episode, and I said it in Space Babies, and I'm saying it again here, we have never seen Doctor Who look this good. Now on to the mysteries that were hinted upon in the episode. So first and most importantly, where was the psychic paper? There were so many scenes in this episode that could have used it. Last time we saw the psychic paper was on the church on Ruby Road, so we know that it has been carried over to this season. It really isn't a mystery where the psychic paper is, because most of the time it just appears randomly throughout the season or the series. But it's more of I would have liked to have seen that be there, because there was so much potential for it to be used in this episode. Yeah, I do hope that it actually will come back. Susan Twist. She now has another background role in this episode. She was the tea lady and actually shared a few lines with the Doctor on screen. I have no idea who this lady is or why the hell she just keeps appearing through time like this. She seems so normal as well. But I do want to say she could potentially be the one who waits, watching along as she waits. There's something else here that I noticed throughout this episode, and it was really, really prominent. And I think I've said it before, but it's regarding the Doctor breaking the fourth wall. So the Doctor broke the fourth wall in this episode. Not only that, the Maestro broke the fourth wall twice in this episode. And in the trailers, the Doctor breaks the fourth wall at the start of each trailer and at the end of each trailer. And I really, really think this is key to the actual story being told here, because we've got superstition and basically fantasy. My theory here is that Ruby is potentially part of a TV episode or a TV show, and these actors or the villains and the Doctor know this is what's going on. What leads me to further believe this is the fact that the legend of Ruby Sunday is literally a video camera facing these screens on the wall with glitches and stuff like that in them. So has there been some kind of glitch in the universe where everybody just seems to break fourth walls? I mean, it's not as if it's not deliberately done, because it's done in a way where it's so prominent and noticeable that it's got to mean something for the story arc overall. There was also a really nice scene on the rooftop where the Doctor acknowledges that he would be in Totter's Lane round about this time period with his granddaughter Susan. I really, really do hope that they bring Susan back. They seem to have brought everyone else bar her back, and she's the original. She is being mentioned. RTD also mentioned in an Instagram post a while back, Susan, whatever happened to her. So I think Susan could potentially play a key role in either this season or next season. I feel like it would be more suited to next season, just because we're kind of building back up into Doctor Who again with new fans and stuff. So let them get familiar with the show and then start introducing that stuff. The Giggle, as I mentioned before, it was mentioned when the Doctor and Ruby were running away, trying to hide from the Maestro. This is actually a direct callback to the Toymaker, and the Maestro has a relevant role with the Toymaker. I don't want to say too much, because if you're going to watch the episode, I don't want to ruin that surprise for you. The next thing that the Maestro had mentioned was the oldest one. So the oldest one was mentioned, and I think this is another godlike celestial being that has maybe been here literally from the beginning of time. Could this be a callback to bringing back the devil from the Satan's pit? Either that, is it the oldest relation in the family? Who knows? And I don't mean the family of blood, I mean literally the family of Celestials that's happening right now. Okay, so back to what I was discussing when I said the Maestro commented on Ruby. Maestro literally said that Ruby is wrong. So this means that there's definitely something not right with Ruby Sunday. I don't want to go down the road of her being a ganger. I don't see any purpose for this, really. I really do think that Ruby isn't human at the very least. And this would be nice, because this would be the first time we've had a non-human companion since Nardole. The one who waits was mentioned, and I think this is possibly something to do with Susan Twist. Could it be something to do with the fact that the Doctor changed gravity to Mavity and Susan Twist is out to seek revenge for some stupid reason? Who knows? She's definitely an important character for this season though, as she's been in 2 episodes now, and we now know she'll also appear in episode 3, Boom, written by Stephen Moffat. In total, I would give this episode a 9 out of 10. So that is another point up from the first episode, Space Babies. 100% worth watching if you haven't already. And I can tell you something else that's worth watching within the Whoniverse too. This video right here. Click it. Go on, you know you want to.